sure look. It'll be grand.
Owen, guess what?
Huh?
We're in the end game now.
Oh, God. I mean,
You know
we,
how, like,
I mean,
5
we
different
are.
ways to
We, I
sound
mean, we
this.
are, but we've also said that exact joke like 8
Yeah.
times during our WandaVision
Yeah,
run.
I know. I thought we'd just keep on going with it, you know?
So was it? Oh, so you were? It was a callback to us rather than a callback to
Yeah.
that movie. Okay, that's fine then. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
It's a
that's
good
fine.
reference. All right.
Yeah,
grand.
yeah. Okay, I get it now. It's fine.
Okay, grand. Well, look, welcome, folks. Welcome back to Short Will Be Grand, an Irish podcast about two Irish Egypts, giving you their Irish Egypt opinions on movies, and hopefully more eventually. We had a little bit of a talk about games in a previous podcast, but
Yeah.
we're going to stick to it. And for our wonderful, beautiful, handsome, sexy listeners, you know, this is the last episode of this season. We finished the season. We finished, including all episodes or anything we put out, because there's a single episode that we did not release. It's infamous.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, and there was one that we were doing and then kind of just didn't do it. But we like watched the movie, and I still
Yeah.
have, because in the early stages we recorded ourselves watching the movies live as we spoke
Yeah.
about them. I still have that. So we, there,
Oh,
you know,
we have some extra content.
yes, we do.
Yeah, it's terrible content, but we have it.
Everything's content these days, baby.
Yeah, so I looked at 35 things we've uploaded all together, all episodes put together, and then obviously our 24 movie episodes. So it's at 24 movie episodes, and then we have WandaVision, and then we have a few little side things here and there that built our way up to 35.
35 episodes in, what, 6 months?
We actually started on the 28th of November 2020.
Okay, 8 months. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, almost 8 months.
Yeah. And,
If-
you know, there was that
pa-
1
the
month
pa-
that...
The pause there was
we-
me counting the months on my
Yeah.
fingers for anyone.
Yeah. We'll be more theatrical in future of counting.
Yes.
But yeah, it's been a road. Have you enjoyed yourself, Owen?
yeah, it's been okay.
Yeah, it's been alright, hasn't it? Yeah.
It was alright,
Yeah.
you know. Something
Some
to do.
lovely comments recently, though.
Yeah, I will
They
say.
were very nice
it's
to
been
see.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, I think it's fair to say we have some regulars too.
We do. We have,
Yeah.
like, people who listen every week, which is nice.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Yeah, that's really nice.
We're not
like,
just
I
screaming into
didn't
the
expect
void
that.
anymore. Woo!
I kind of felt like we were just going to get randomers that just happened to come across our thing going, all right, yeah. But yeah, and as you saw on social media, we were inviting people to mention some of their favorite things about the show, and we'll recap a few of our favorite things. Which, yeah, there wasn't actually that much overlap between the two of us.
Yeah, there was a bit.
Yeah,
A small bit.
like one
Couple of places.
in,
Yeah, which,
in
you
two
know,
categories.
makes sense.
Yeah. So look, should we get into it?
Sure.
We have 3 categories. Now, I'll be honest, folks. We had 4 categories, which was one was cover based, but as we were giving out covers, we realized the medium that we are portraying this in might suffer a little bit when describing visual elements.
Just a tad, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a tad.
You know, I felt I was going to go very quickly down the road of, you know, that cover where I put Cozzy's head in between like the arm of that fella, and I made myself a funny face in the background. That one, you know, and you know though that may be fun for, you know, 1 or 2 covers, I don't think 6 would be that entertaining. Anyway,
No. But the covers have
Sure.
been fun. I enjoy them.
oh, I enjoy them immensely, and I'm looking forward to. Hopefully, I'm going to be down in the country, around Owen's Way, and we can set up and take a lot of more action post pictures for Photoshop shenanigans. Because most of the time it's just me going, "Hey, Owen, Send me a picture of you tilting your head and making a funny face. That'll do.
We're gonna have a photo shoot, I think, as well.
Yeah, we're going to have a photo shoot.
Can't wait.
So let's get into our favorite movies. So, in no particular order, but we'll talk about it. These are our favorite movies that we just genuinely enjoyed watching. It's not so much about how the podcast itself went, but when we sat down and watched these movies, these were at the top of our enjoyment list. Let's start with the first one of our podcast, which actually had a cover. And thankfully, I can read it and don't have to remember the name of it and get it wrong. And it's Wild Mountain Thyme.
Wild Irish Time, as Dan called it in the episode.
The Wild Irish Times, page 3 of the Irish Times when they get a bit racy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you this was yours. You very much
this
like
was
Wild Mountain Thyme.
okay. Like this is a not like I have 3 actual like genuinely good movies that I enjoyed watching thoroughly, and then I have Wild Mountain Thyme because I can't ignore it because it's the whole thing was just an experience. To be honest, the movie defies actual description. I was talking about this with somebody. This came up in conversation in real life with a friend of mine, like over the weekend. Somebody mentioned, "Oh, have you seen that Wild Mountain Thyme thing?" They didn't really know what it was, other than that it was set in Ireland. Yeah. And I looked at them. I was like, "You are not physically, mentally, or emotionally prepared for what actually happens in that movie. There is no way you will ever guess how that movie ends because it's complete insanity. It's mental. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And we spent the whole episode going, what was that? For the most part.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. But
I still think I have trauma over the reveal at the end. I'm not going to spoil in case you didn't watch that episode, but
that's what I mean.
You know.
It's like the movie itself is ridiculous, but it's not like, it's just general like, haha, hoity Irishness, let's go kind of shit.
Yeah.
It's bad accents. They don't know really what Ireland is about, and that's great. I like watching those movies because I like annoying myself with things like that, and it's a rom-com, which I love.
Likes to annoy himself.
Yeah, I like to make myself annoyed with everything, but it's just that ending. The ending is just so crazy, and I just wanted to mention it. I just wanted to throw it out there and say that was just.
And you know what? The worst thing is, like a horror movie, you can start going back to previous scenes where it gets referenced without you knowing. It's just like. It's actually kind of haunting. It's like, oh.
They do subtly. Maybe not subtly is not the right word. Kind of set it up, but it is there. It's kind of, you can look back and go, oh, okay, that makes, not that it makes sense now that happened previously, but I guess that meant more now than it wasn't just a throwaway line at the start of the movie. But yeah, Wild Mountain Thyme. We have a clip from Wild Mountain Thyme. Do you want to do that now, or we do that later?
No, we'll do it later.
Okay.
I think.
Sure.
Yeah. So the next favorite movie was The Karate Kid for me. I mean, I know you enjoyed watching it as well, to be honest.
Yeah, I love The Karate Kid, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course I do.
But I really liked, because it was a big thing that we were talking about, like what we remembered of it and what we really didn't remember of it as well. Like, because I remember all the running from bikers and him fighting in the streets and learning how to defend himself and the wax on, wax off. I remember none of the school stuff whatsoever.
Yeah, like I remembered all the moments that everybody remembers from the Karate Kid, like the wax on, wax off and the training and stuff. Yeah. But in my mind, most of the movie was the tournament at the end. I thought that was like much longer.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. That's just like the last 10, 15 minutes of the movie. It's just kind of a thing at the end. But yeah, it was cool. Karate Kid's a great movie. It's like we did that.
Miyagi's fantastic.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And that was one of, we did it as kind of, I picked it as like when we were doing like a nostalgia thing for like a couple of weeks. And that was one that I was like really pleasantly surprised that it is as good as I remember it being when I watched it when I was like 10 or whatever. But
if not better.
If not better. It's definitely,
Yeah.
Coupled with Cobra Kai fever that was happening at the time. So
happening.
We couldn't.
It's
We had
still
to know.
happening in
Still-
my
still
heart. I
happening,
am
yeah,
still.
the season 4 teaser
Oh, I
dropped.
did. Did you see it?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I saw it.
watch the trailer, folks. Genuinely, I know you probably heard so many people say, "Yeah, you should watch Cobra Kai" by dudes that you probably don't listen to normally when you want to watch anything on Netflix. But actually, genuinely do watch Cobra Kai. It is a delight. It's so, and not in a it's so cheesy. Even though it is extremely cheesy, it actually has more to it as well. It's very good.
Just like the Karate Kid.
Yeah. Next one is our most recent one, actually, and it's your choice. And The Mummy.
The Mummy. Yeah, The Mummy was. It's just such fun to watch. Like, there's a ton of great things in it, and I think my favorite thing about rewatching The Mummy was realizing that there's actually so many different elements to it in terms of like different like genre elements happening in the film. Like there's elements of like actual horror and like jump scares and terror. There's like action adventure, there's romance, there's comedy, there's like slapstick weird shit. There's like Brendan Fraser just doing his absolute Brendan Fraserist stuff. There's Rachel Weisz. Like it's just really fun time. If I had to pick like of all the movies we've done to pick one that I could say like that's what big blockbuster popcorn flicks should be. That's how to do them right. It's The Mummy.
Actually, I was talking to someone and they mentioned like a spiritual cousin, I suppose. And it's the first few Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Yeah, they're definitely
same sort of heart in there. Like.
Yeah, the first Pirates of the Caribbean I've always loved. I think it's a genuinely well made and well put together movie, but it is a blockbuster action flick, and they're kind of akin. Yeah. The Mummy's akin to that, in that it's there. You can do them and do them right, and they don't. Movies like that don't have to just be crap.
Superheroes.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, superheroes, but they don't have to be. They don't have to be like by definition like you turn off your brain and blah. They're just crap, which we've said about a bunch of movies on this show, I think. But you can do them right. They can still be really well-made movies and still be a ton of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a shame that we don't get more of them.
Yeah, it's a shame we don't get more. I mean, we get a lot of blockbusters and crap, but we don't get a lot of them that are like put proper care and filmmaking into characters and script writing and a plot that makes some sort of sense, I suppose. In a lot of them, it's kind of like, here's a template. Oh, what is it? We've got a MacGuffin, and we're going to end with a giant thing in the sky. Off you go.
Yeah. It's what it is. It's done by numbers nowadays, and that's a problem. But anyway, the next one was The Last Samurai, or as I told you earlier on, the Samurai Kid.
The Samurai Kid. Yeah.
The Samurai Kid. Yeah, The Last Samurai.
Yeah, because we were talking about clips and things that we might play, or like favorite bits that we had from the show that people had mentioned or whatever, and Dan sent me a timestamp and said, in the Samurai Kid episode. I genuinely didn't know if he meant The Last Samurai, the Karate Kid, because it could have been either one.
To be honest, folks, anyone who lives around the southeast area in Ireland at the moment of the date of the 14th of the 6th, 2020, knows that it is humid and hot as shit. And I'm not the best with names in the first place. So you add humidity and heat to my brain, and it's just... I mean, to be fair, to be fair, you tell me you wouldn't watch The Samurai Kid.
I think it might exist already.
I think it might exist in the zeitgeist of all these movies put together.
Maybe not specifically The Samurai Kid, but I'm sure there is a movie out there where
the Three Little Ninjas, I guess.
Yeah,
kind of
ninjas, samurais.
Well, a lot of ninjas were samurai, historically speaking. Yeah.
Sure. Look, it's out there somewhere. But The Last Samurai.
Yeah, The Last Samurai. Tom Cruise, obviously the white savior. We actually talked about this. We disagree with that estimation.
Yeah.
But look, it's a great movie. Obviously, a lot more glorified and sort of, well, how would you say it? Made wonderful in a nostalgic sort of way. But it tells a beautiful story about honor, about redeeming yourself, about finding inner strength and doing the right thing and finding your path,
Mhm.
and it sticks to you. I think it's still one of those great, like the Gladiator, the Last Samurai is very much in the same caliber in my mind. Like
Yeah,
those,
it's yeah. I think I talked like when we did the Last Samurai episode, I compared it to Gladiator. Now I think Gladiator is a better movie. Just personal preference probably on in that ends of things. I really like Gladiator, but they're of the same ilk as well. They're of the same breed, and I can totally see why somebody might say prefer the Last Samurai.
Yeah,
They're both great movies. So
yeah, absolutely. And our last favorite movie, and one that we both agreed on, is The Iron Giant.
yeah, fuck me, man. I never in a bajillion years thought I would ever sit here and say, of all the whatever 20-something movies we've done on this show, if not more, The Iron Giant is my favorite one that we watched. Just didn't think it. I wasn't ever I wasn't anti-Iron Giant, but I was one of those that was like,
Quite overhyped.
it's all right. Like it's not. It's not
The thing is,
that,
you didn't.
but
You
I never.
You weren't even sure you watched it. You saw so many parts of it.
That's the thing. Like when when we sat down to watch it again, I was like going through it, and I was like, I don't think I've actually seen this movie.
Yeah.
Like I knew about it, and it's like it's talked about a lot in like I suppose circles that we'd be in on the internet or whatever. People love the Iron Giant, right? And I knew that, and I'd seen the ending scene, and I'd seen bits of it, and I knew what the plot was, and I knew the story. I knew the cat. I knew like so much shit about the Iron Giant that I think my brain was just like, yeah, you've seen the Iron Giant. Of course, you've seen the Iron Giant. What? Yeah, you've seen that. You definitely watched it, but I don't think I had. And then I sat down and finally, so properly, actually watched it for the show, and I get it now.
Yeah,
I get it.
Like, we didn't put it into our final things for favorite episodes, but it also was a really good talk about the movie because you can actually dig so deep on multiple parts of this movie. Like,
and that was that episode. The movie was chosen by you guys as well, because we let you guys vote, and I was bitterly disappointed that Hercules that actually
which is weird again because you
actually
gave
like
them the choice.
I know, yeah, because I was like I was tossing them about. I was like I can't make a decision right now on the spot, so this will be fun. Let's have a vote and let's let the audience pick. And then secretly, then afterwards, I was like, I'd actually really love to talk about Hercules. That would be like I'd love to talk about it. And the Iron Giant was the one that I was like, oh, the Prince of Egypt would be great too. I love that movie. The Iron Giant was like my third one that I was like, but then it won, and now I love it. So thanks, guys, for that.
Well, there you go. Like, we're not lying when we're saying 2 Irish eaches because clearly the audience has a better taste in what we should discuss.
Well, I wouldn't ever argue against that.
This is not us like saying, "Oh, we love our people." Listen, no, genuinely,
I think it's
smarter.
I think it's well established as well that I have terrible taste in everything. So don't worry about it.
Oh, we'll see that when we get to our favorite episodes. Anyway, now we get to actually kind of my favorite part of what we had planned here. Our favorite quips or just moments, like things that we thought were important to talk about. And I think we mostly, it's 3 quips to, this is actually very sincere and important to listen to.
Yeah, there's one that shows that at least one of us can be a serious person.
Yeah, so you know what? We'll go for a quip first, and then we'll go to seriousness, and we'll do a few more quips at the end. How about that?
Sure, no problem.
So, the first quip, which I have said, this is actually Owen's choice, even though I wanted to choose it as well, is the Oscar Wilde one that happened in our favorite movie, The Wild Mountain Thyme.
It's like Oscar Wilde had 2 children, and now the children are interested in incest.
Yeah. Is that what it's like, Dan?
Yeah, it is. Because it was in Wild Mountain Thyme, and it was about both, like, he went off to her house, and I think they were talking about birds or bushes or trees and freedom, and they would talk in poetry to each other, every line, like, and it was just like, what's going on here, like? And the incest thing came in because, I mean, you know, if they're both Oscar Wilde's children,
were fucking while they were, you know, heading that direction in the movie.
Yeah. So yeah, like that's something that stuck out to me anyway, and I go back to it regularly and laugh my fucking arse off.
Yeah. You can go back and laugh at your own joke
Yeah.
that often.
It wasn't even like, it's not even a thing I tried to make a joke at first. It's like, oh, this makes sense. This makes sense. Incest.
I think that was the funniest thing. That was the bit, because it sounds at the start you're like making a point. You're like,
I was.
like Oscar Wilde's had 2 children, and then they are like interested in incest, and it's like, wait, what?
I mean, like, this
Did I
is
hear
like,
him
okay,
right?
so my brain went to this, like, and they're interesting, sure, which would mean it's incest, so I should probably say incest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And our next clip, and a big thank you again to David for giving the information for this. This is from The Last Samurai.
Nope.
Not The Last... I'm doing it again! It's The Karate Kid, and it's talking about giving a bit more depth to a scene with Mr. Miyagi being drunk, talking about his wife and child. And David actually sent on some information about that, and I like to kind of go through it because it gives that moment a lot more sincerity. Mr. Miyagi served in World War II in the 442nd Division, which was mostly made up Japanese American, and most of them being second generation. And at the time, America had this thing called the Prove Their Loyalty thing, which was a loyalty questionnaire which was given to Japanese American people to prove how loyal they were to their country. Japanese Americans were seen as basically spies or potential traitors to their country, and they were rounded up and put into like internment camps which weren't even fully finished or made or built. They bring them in where it's basically just a jail, and then they would have to finish building the rest. They had to sell their properties, usually at a pittance. It shows the kind of character Mr. Miyagi was. If you just watch this movie and you don't know his history, I think you just think, oh, that's very sad. Mr. Miyagi had a kid and family. But once you bring in the internment camp, you could imagine Mr. Miyagi could have been very, very bitter. But he still cared, regardless. He found that balance.
So Dan can be serious on the podcast.
Mike can be serious. I have a few monologues. I couldn't find them all. Usually with me coming up with some sort of philosophical, emotional beat. For some reason, they just pop out once in a while. They're not pre-planned. They just kind of happen. But then there's... I'm going to go for the other one that I chose because it highlights you. And it's about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Kazi's deep respect for the Shredder.
That's true. I don't know. Isn't the Shredder magical?
Are you? I know you meant it in like he's supernatural. It just, you made it sound a little more. Isn't he magical?
Dreamy? Isn't the Shredder cute?
Yeah.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, sure. That's. I think that's what they went for in the movie. Actually, people overlooked it. You know.
That's what. Yeah, the Shredder was that was the big complaint at the time. The Shredder's too hot.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm on his side. Fuck those ugly turtle suit looking motherfuckers.
Yeah. That was very much the battle of the ancient Japanese magic samurai and the mutated turtles fandom.
Yes, that's still raging to this day.
Yeah, it really is.
There's the juxtaposition of my content on the show and Dan's.
Which brings us beautifully to the last one, really. It seems when we did our splitting episodes on Deep Impact and Armageddon, though people may have noticed there was a slight tension in my voice throughout the episode, which is fair. People actually really liked it, and I'm actually delighted that the work came through on that. But we had quite a heated debate throughout that episode. But I think Owen eventually bet me with this line.
I wore you down.
Your domain.
It's all about how it's presented, isn't it?
It was presented.
It's presented a lot cooler in Armageddon.
How?
Aerosmith soundtrack.
Fuck.
I
I mean,
have an Aerosmith soundtrack.
yeah, I mean,
That's
I couldn't hold myself laughing.
it. Fuck.
Yeah, there was no saving that ship. It was just like, no.
that was my big bullet. That was my big hitter for my argument.
Like, you don't get away from that. Like,
I have an Aerosmith soundtrack. Fuck you.
Yeah, and look, I think there's a lot more quips in there throughout. I think we've had a lot of fun time with this.
Yeah, we had a great time, but I don't want to sit here and just like.
Yeah.
I want to turn this episode into us reacting to us. Just going,
Yeah,
aren't
exactly.
we hilarious?
Yeah, but I think these four were a good sort of encapsulation of what this podcast goes for. You know, there's a few. It's 3-to-1 part quips and seriousness. You
Yeah,
know?
we do the serious things sometimes.
Yeah. But, you know, at the same time, we don't want to bore you, and we enjoy more taking the piss than being too serious about life.
Yeah.
But yes, we finally go to our favorite episodes. Are you looking forward to this one?
Yes. I am.
Very good. So, I mean, you know, we'll start with the obvious one, the greatest episode we probably ever made, the Princess Switch.
Yeah, oh man, yeah. This was I had to pick this one because
Yeah.
So Princess Switch was Jesus. I think maybe like the second or third episode we ever did. It was like really early on, back when we still did our like 3 things we liked and 3 things we didn't like stuff.
Yeah,
was
we
like in this
basically
one.
talked about the entire movie as well.
We scrapped it eventually and we refined things. But the idea behind the Princess Switch, on my end, was me picking a stupid romantic shite movie that I like that I thought Dan would hate.
Yeah.
That was the point. I was like, I'm gonna force Dan to watch one of my dumb rom-com movies because he doesn't watch them. And then Dan actually really liked it.
You know what? You know, it really ended up being, I respected its integrity. It went for something. It achieved it. Why should I expect more?
Yeah,
You know?
it's not on the movie if you want it to be something different.
Yeah. But like, this
It is what
movie
it
is
is.
clear about its mission.
Yeah.
It's not trying anything else.
It's not pretending to be something it isn't. It's a dumb rom-com starring Vanessa Hudgens as
And-
2 people playing.
And you know, if it's Christmas Day and I'm preparing stuff and I want a movie on in the background, this could be put on. I have nothing against this
Yeah,
being
it
put on as a
could.
movie.
And now you can do a marathon because there's a sequel and a third one coming.
Yeah, the Princess Switch universe. Yeah, cool.
There is, yes. It's the Netflix cinematic Christmas Princess universe.
Yeah.
Is I think what I coined the term.
Is there an Avengers one coming up for it?
They're all going to meet up. Yes, they are. It's not like they're not fighting anybody, but there's going to be some sort of a wedding/divorce type situation, and they're all going to come together. And I don't know what they do when they come together, but they're going to do something.
Yeah, by golly, they will. But yeah, I honestly look. I thought the episode ended up being a lot funnier than what we were planning on it being, because I actually ended up liking it. Saying that, Splitting Hairs has proven that if Owen does annoy me, it seems to make people enjoy the episode more. So, you know, work on that, buddy. Right. Okay. The next one I'll go for, one of mine, is A Gnome Named Norm. And my God, this was my choice to put as a favorite episode. Very much a favorite episode, not favorite movie.
Oh, if we were A Gnome Named Norm is easily the worst movie we watched.
Yeah,
this season.
100%.
It's not close either. Like it's
no,
A Gnome Named Norm is terrible. It's completely awful. And I picked A Gnome Named Norm because it was going to be bad, but it was even worse than even I could have anticipated.
It was disgusting.
It was horrible.
Like, this part that literally really like, oh, why?
Yeah, it's a really bad movie, but a really fun episode.
Very fun episode. Yeah. I think most of us just saying like, "Oh my god, how did they end up with this? Why did they think they should do this?" Yeah, we're very flabbergasted, but it was a very enjoyable episode. I listen to it once in a while, and yeah, the next one, we'll go to one of Owen's, and we'll go for the Power Rangers movie.
Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. That's not how you sing the theme song, but
no,
the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. Yeah, man, I loved this episode. I mean, it's I guess for selfish reasons, because it was an excuse for me to talk about the Power Rangers in some sort of depth beyond. Man, you remember the Power Rangers? They were cool. Like
when they were fighting farting enemies, wasn't it? This movie.
Oh no. The enemies didn't fart. There was fart noises when they punched them.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Come on, Dan.
I think most people understood where I was going with that. Okay, but
yeah,
fair
no.
enough.
The Power Rangers was just fun. You know, it was another nostalgia pick. And one that I always love going back to watch again is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. I was obsessed with it as a kid. So this could have gone in either list for me. In terms of like favorite movie or favorite episode, because I love the movie.
There's a lot of movies that could have fit in both, to be honest.
Yeah,
Iron
but
Giant could have easily been a favorite episode as well.
But just like the episode itself, I think is just. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's rare enough that somebody would talk about the Power Rangers movie in as much depth as I went into on that episode.
And you know what? It was quite close to us doing the Doctor Who episode, and we both admitted we could have gone on for 2 hours.
Oh, easily. Yeah, I had to stop myself because I remember as we were recording that one, looking at the time and going, "Holy Jesus, we have like 2 more sections this thing to do. I better just stop talking about the history of the Power Rangers and move on."
Yeah. I mean, I think we should do just a 2-hour-long episode one day on the Power Rangers and Doctor Who. Why not?
You think there was a crossover out there somewhere?
Doctor Who, Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I mean, I would not be shocked. I wouldn't. There's probably some
I wouldn't be shocked
third-party
either.
thing.
If there is, we should find it and watch it or read it or whatever the fuck it is.
It's probably a comic or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, talking about Doctor Who, I obviously put Doctor Who as one of my favorite episodes. Not necessarily about the movie, which I would argue, and Owen would disagree, but he has only watched one, so he has no point to give here. But I personally think it's a movie that gets better with each viewing. But even without that, it's a hilariously awkward movie in so many ways for first viewers, I think.
It's a bad movie, but it's fun to watch because it's bad. It's one of those like, oh, this is just, this is crap, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's fun, you know? The
only thing you get from it is like, everyone seemed to have enjoyed themselves doing that movie. Like, everyone was just like, you could tell from the acting that they knew this is a bit fucking cheesy and terrible.
But one man enjoyed himself way more than everybody else did.
You want to give that name?
The king of our hearts, Eric Roberts.
Yeah.
If you're out there, Eric, you by chance ever see this, we'd love to chat.
No, here's the thing, right? Yes, it's cheesy, it's over the top, but God damn it, shouldn't the Master be that anyway? Shouldn't the Master's literally like a crazy, energized version of the Doctor. Like, he got it right. It's just like no one else decided to put as much energy in it as he did.
No, nobody. It was, I mean, he just did it. He was just like, fuck it, yeah, I know what this is, and just went for it. Whereas, I mean, that's like, to me, who's not like, clearly not as big a Doctor Who fan as you are, that's what Doctor Who is in my head.
Yeah.
That's what it is. The movie is, that's what Doctor Who is to me. So it was fine. Like, I didn't watch it and go, this is not Doctor Who. Doctor Who's good. This is not that it's not good. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't expecting.
Doctor Who there's a lot of low valleys in Doctor Who, and then it gets to the high mountains, and it's fantastic up there. But it's both. Like, that's what the show is. You know.
It was a good episode.
But yeah, great episode. I left the best to last. I felt like even drugs wouldn't have improved this. Which is the Transformers movie.
The Transformers, the movie. Come on.
Sorry, The Transformers, the movie. Which we watched with Kevin. The only guest we had on the show so far.
Yeah.
And yeah, big point of this movie was as we reviewed it, we remembered very little of what was going on, who was who, and what was the goal.
I don't even think it was a matter of not remembering it. I didn't know those things as I was watching the film.
Yeah.
I didn't know who anybody was. I didn't know what the characters were called. I didn't know what the point of the story was. The plot didn't make sense. The colors were too much. It was too loud. There was too much music. And that's what the episode was too.
And you know what? And I have so many friends who are a little bit older than me, which is makes it that this is their movie when they were a kid. This is the movie they saw in cinema. It was amazing to them, right? And I'm sorry, but I don't know how. I actually feel like we were talking about it in the episode. I feel for that dad who had to bring their kid into the cinema to watch this, thinking, sure, look, it's a kid's movies. It'll be fine. Yeah, and sat down going, what the fuck? I don't know how any sort of context could have... And honestly, it kind of... Even Kevin, who's like a Transformer fan of some level, right? Like, none of us... We were just like... It's like someone put LSD into our drinks because we couldn't latch onto any sort of reality.
No, I think what I said at the end of the episode was it was the film equivalent of that thing that hangs above a baby's crib. It's just like colors and moving images that it just keeps them like occupied for like an hour so they're not like, I don't know, running around screaming for like an hour, but it's just fucking. But the episode itself was, aside from the fact that I think in my mind it's one of the funniest episodes that we did because it's just utter chaos and it was just great. It was brilliant fun to both watch, less so to watch because my brain kind of stopped working towards the end of the movie. But it was great.
What background, which was foreground, what characters were
what was going on. But it was great fun to record. And I do think as well, it is the only time in this season that we've had a third, like a guest in to talk about the show, and I thought that was fun too. It was it was something new. It was tough to work out recording like remotely in terms of like talking over each other and like audio issues and stuff. But I mean, aside from that, it was great. I thought Kevin added another dynamic to things. So it was fun for a lot of reasons, and it's like always has, that episode just has a special place in my heart.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think I'd love to do more with guests or even other podcasts to join us, put a few things here and there. So if anyone's out there who has a little pitch of what you'd like to take part in, like, we are very open to listen anyway, but yeah, so that was our favorite episodes, and this is a special category because of mostly people commenting about this. It's splitting hairs. People really like splitting hairs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm vindicated.
You are vindicated. Yeah. Like, at the time, I'm going to be honest, the episode pushed me a bit. It was very kind of... Because I knew you playing a character, right? We both knew this. Like, you were very...
Don't reveal things like that.
Look, I think people know, otherwise they think you're mentally ill.
This is me, okay?
Okay, all right, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a good thing that we recorded this remotely.
Wow, you were that mad?
I was really mad with you. The beautiful thing is, like, I was mad with you about just two movies which aren't that important. Like, they really aren't.
Neither of them are that important or that good, to be honest.
Yeah, no, they weren't. Like, yeah, they were movies we enjoyed, but
they're
like,
fine.
They're not great.
I don't know. It was just God, it was so much fun to do. I had so much fun taking the piss with Armageddon, to be honest. Yeah. And because Splitting Hairs was like, we only ended up doing one. We have like, I suppose movies and stuff that we want to do in the future for that
category
show, I guess. But they take a bit more time to do, obviously, because you have to write write. You have to watch. Jesus, you don't have to write the movies. You have to watch 2 movies
All right,
separately.
Golly, we're going to do Splitting Hairs where both of us write a movie.
We're all going to write our own movies and then argue whose is better. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, they take a bit more time to do, and it was just fun. I wanted to try something a little bit different, and kind of
Yeah. They were both on our list to watch, and then you kind of went, hey.
It was because because I picked Armageddon, I think, as my next movie in the list, and then you said, well, if we're doing Armageddon, I have to pick Deep Impact afterwards.
Yeah.
And I just thought, rather than spend 2 weeks and 2 separate episodes talking about like the same movie.
Yeah.
Not the same, you know what I mean, but they're like very similar. And I knew like if we were talking about Armageddon, Deep Impact was going to come up. And if we're talking about Deep Impact, Armageddon was going to come up.
Yeah.
So
why not put them together?
just do them together. And then Splitting Hairs came along, and I thought it's actually really fun. I've been looking up at like lists and stuff of like twin films, they're called.
Yeah.
When 2 movies that have more or less the same plot are released like really close together. And there's a ton of them that would be so much fun to do.
I believe my brother may have mentioned one pairing.
Did he?
He kind of. Well, I suggested that, and he's kind of said. I tell you what he exactly said. I think you're doing Arnie wrong if you make this a Splitting Hairs movie, because he's like, watch the original. Oh, what's it called?
Total Recall.
Total Recall. Don't do the new one. And it's just like, I kind of want to do the Splitting Hairs because the movies are somewhat different to each other.
They're different. Yeah, it's just that like for Splitting Hairs wasn't supposed to be about remake versus original.
That could be a whole nother thing if we wanted to do that.
That's kind of a different thing to me. So it would be more like Olympus Has Fallen, White House Down, that somebody else sent in, and something that I was thinking of. That Shane commented last week that we should do Olympus Has Fallen versus White House Down. They're not remakes of each other. They're 2 movies that were made simultaneously with the exact same plot and concept and released like months apart. And there's others. There's like, there's some are kind of a bit different. I was looking at it in 1983. There was 2 James Bond movies released with 2 different Bonds.
All right.
Which is
2 different Bonds.
Which is crazy to me.
Yeah, it is.
I think Connery and Roger Moore both had movies out in 1983. And Connery's was like made by a different production company or something. But anyway, like, you know,
they've been bought out now as well, haven't they?
Bond or Sean Connery?
Bond, the studio that, I mean, he's been bought off by God.
Oh.
I mean, he's died.
I know, I know, yeah.
Okay. And, you know, sexism. Anyway. People seem to really enjoy Splitting Hairs, and I definitely think will make it more of a priority for next season.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I'm saying. We were always planning on doing a couple more, but if you guys love them, we'll do more. Yeah.
We might do them more regularly, maybe once a month sort of thing if we can.
More quickly or faster.
Yeah. I suppose with us finishing the talk about season 1, we could potentially talk a little bit about season 2 and what we've planned. And by planned, I very much mean planned. We have some ideas, and we just have to figure out how we can record a lot of this stuff, because it's easy to say, hey, we could do this. We have a list of things we can give you. But the reality is, 7 days is a very short time to produce anything.
Yeah.
And so
it is. I mean, it wasn't when neither of us, we were deep into lockdown and neither of us were doing anything. Yeah. It was handy. That's why we were able to do a main episode and WandaVision every week, because it wasn't, we could just, WandaVision, we'd hop on a Friday morning, watch the episode and record the episode immediately after watching, and it was done by 12 o'clock. But like we're going back to work and we have other shit going on, so we can't do it that quickly anymore. But we do have a lot of things that we would like to do.
Yeah. So like one thing obviously we'll continue to do is our movies. I don't think that'll change anytime ever.
No, that's the show basically. We are. It is at its core. This is a movie podcast.
Yeah.
So that'll be. They aren't going away. We'll still be doing
No.
those once a week. Is still our aim. There will be an episode every week. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
whatever.
Look, I'm thinking we're definitely going to start aiming at, if we do have the time, we'll make an episode. So potentially, at least in my hopes, that we might even get to have a few in the back burner, so to speak. So we have a bit of a buffer, so we don't end up with missing out on a week or giving it to you on Thursdays instead. But again, reality is the boss of us. So, they might be shifting here and there. But again, aims for every week, every Tuesday, as we see it for now. The other one that we want to do weekly is kind of a news roundup. Things that interest us. So movies, games, music, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I wanted to do something like this because it's pretty easy. I don't want to say it's easy to do, but it's like it doesn't require as much actual like pre-production work as like a normal episode does. And so it's kind of a case of like, if there ever does come a week where we're just two of us can't find the time to make a full hour-long episode, we'll still have this. You still hear from us every week, and it's fun as well for us to do. It's like just a movie game gossip sort of roundup thing. Everybody does them, but they're fun.
What late 20s and early 30 people is that interested in?
Yeah,
basically.
I mean, everybody does them. Every fucking YouTube channel in the world on the internet that's involved in movies or geek culture does them, but they're fun. They're good. They're fun, and I think it's like it's fun to talk about. I mean, I can imagine the fun we would have had if we had recorded an episode the week that Timothy Chalamet was announced to be playing Willy Wonka in a young Willy Wonka prequel, because that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
stuff like that. So as they come out.
Look, it's like done by so many people, it's still going to have our flair. We're still going to talk shite over it. We're still going to have a laugh about it. It's what we like to do.
Yeah, exactly. They're stories. They're like just news things that we think are fun or ridiculous, things like that. I'm gonna, it's not going to be like, here's your weekly Star Wars TV show news round.
Yeah, like,
we're not gonna do that
the
every week.
Mandalorian's wearing a ring in one of the preview shots.
that's not
what could that mean? Has the Mandalorian had a romantic relationship? Here are three potential people. Let's go to the... No.
That's not what it is. It's not going to be like a fucking comicbook.com article where we're just talking about like 17 things you might have missed in WandaVision episode 1 from 2. No, we're not. That's not what it's going to be. Okay, so don't leave.
It's going to be us basically like we're reading the morning paper of geeky stuff.
Yeah, I have my newscaster persona ready. That's what I'll do for it.
Okay.
I'm going to be RT.
Okay.
my RT news.
Yeah, I was going to do the voice. I have a voice in my head, but I don't think my tongue is trained for it just now.
Plastic
Deirdre here in South Dublin. That's just it's close to
plastic
that,
sheeting RT news.
RT news. You have to go a little bit further.
Yeah, that's why we're doing it though.
You almost have to sound auto-tuned.
Richard Chambers here, Virgin Media News.
Anyway, let's stop doing whatever we're doing right now. Another one that I think is an easy one for us, and we hope to do every week. We're looking at hopefully being either Fridays, probably Friday, I think we were saying.
For the new show,
Stream.
yes. What?
No,
the other thing. Ha!
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Planned.
Yes. So, well, this is something we have mentioned before on the show that we want to do streaming. We're gonna
gaming.
We want to be we want to be super famous Twitch stars. Okay, I want to be. I want to fight Logan Mayweather. No, what? Floyd Mayweather or Logan Paul.
Did they have a child? That's so
they
sweet.
Did. Well, I mean, they were. Yeah, they could have. One of them could be pregnant after that fight. I use air quotes. So we're going to do Twitch. We're starting Twitch. We will give you guys a date as to when that is happening over the next couple of weeks.
It'll be weekly.
Once a week, we're going to dive in. Our first game we're going to play is
It Takes Two.
It Takes Two. We're going to, because why not? It's perfect. There's two of us, and it requires two people to play. What?
Apparently, it's very homoerotic, and which works beautifully for me.
It's pretty good. I played the first like hour or so of it. It's nice.
Yeah.
The gameplay is incredible. Anyway, but yeah,
I
so we're going to do that.
have another one in mind that might be a bit later on in the year. I kind of want to do a Pokemon Nuzlocke, and Kevin said he might hop on and give his views as we Nuzlocke away for a few hours a week.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. I thought I didn't mention this to him, which explains his reaction to this. All right.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so a Pokemon Nuzlocke challenge, and bring on Kevin again for that. But that's very much later on in the year. I'm thinking about November or December or something. Because Nuzlocks are quite popular, and I think we tried a Nuzlocke at one stage, and I literally failed at the first battle. But yeah, very much looking forward to the streaming. You know, playing some video games.
Some video games.
You can be more talk about video games, yeah. There are some other things. They're going to be very much the hypotheticals. They're things we might try out here and there when we get time. I'll go quickly through it. Don't read too much into any of these. We want to maybe do another TV show. Maybe, for example, do 3 episodes of Star Trek at a time and like see what Kazi thinks, and then Kazi can do things for another TV show that I haven't watched before.
One Tree Hill.
Yeah.
Or
exactly.
if people would like to send us in suggestions for that, for a TV show we could do semi-regularly, similar
One
to
that
what we did with
exists
WandaVision.
maybe already as well.
Yeah, this is not something like that's new coming out every week, okay? We've said this before. We're not doing Loki, all right?
Yeah.
Don't
Well,
want
a bit too late for now.
No,
anyway.
but even after the fact, I don't want to do it, all right? It's done. But something, some other TV show that might be fun.
Yeah, exactly. There's other things like we're thinking of doing some individual ones, which could be handy when one of us has time, so we could record it. So I don't like thoughts on things for me. I want to do some sort of storytelling one. I'm very much into D&D and writing plots, and I think having a storytelling sort of episode for podcast might be an interest to people. Original tales. Have a few people come on as voice actors, perhaps. Who knows? This is one that I kind of I'm stealing off basically how YouTubers do make their money, but like have us trying new geeky stuff, and this will probably be a video one. And again, just so you're aware, Kazi lives half a country away from me, so the chance of us doing a lot of video stuff is small. Like if we do it, we might do 1 or 2 a season. We'd talk about doing maybe a read a terrible reviews things of different movies and see how that goes. So we're talking about D&D, building characters and scene or random scene roles, and have Owen and I be challenged by creating characters and then see how they would play out. And so movie reviews as well. We have our weekly reviews, we have Splitting Hairs, but we also considered comparing remakes, because let's be fair, plenty of content there when it comes to comparing remakes. But that's kind of it. Like, just beware, these will be test things we'll do once in a while, and you let us know if you like them at the time, and we might continue them. But the main core ones we're going to stick with is our movie reviews, our weekly news, and the streaming.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, and we are to piggyback off the TV show thing. We are going to be over the next couple of weeks doing out like a calendar sort of plan thing for the movies we're going to be talking about. So if there's a movie you guys want to make us watch or have us talk about or cover or anything like that, please don't be afraid to send them in. Again, we do see everybody's comments and messages when they come in.
We talk about them.
It's not like we have 50,000 million followers and we can only get some of them.
Then we definitely read every single one.
I would spend my entire life reading YouTube comments. But send them in, get in touch. We don't care. Even if you want to send us an email, just send us an email or a message and say, "Yeah, you guys suck." Send us one of those too. That's content.
You know what might be an idea? We actually have a Discord server. if people want to join the Discord server, we have a few channels. You can jump in there, start a few discussions, ideas you have. Feel free. Like, we want to make it as easy for you as possible to do your thing. They don't hear nods.
I'm nod. Yes,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is it for the moment. We're taking a month break, as in we won't be putting things online. Trust us, we're not actually taking a break and not doing anything. There'll be a lot of scheduling and sorting out for
yeah,
the next
of course.
while, like,
Dan, I'll still be tweeting. Dan will still be posting strange memes to Facebook and stuff in the meantime.
do you have any good sources for movie memes? Yeah. But yeah, we'll have our weirdness, and look, take part. Feel free. You know, you heard us. We're very ordinary people. Like, we're gobshites. So, like, we have no high graces. You know, we've had loads of talks with a few listeners, like, privately as well. You know, and it's always made the show a bit better.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, just to close things out for this episode and this season, the biggest thing that I think both of us want to say is just thanks for listening, for commenting, for messaging us, for even if people have sent us messages in private or whatever, or people who have, even if you haven't sent us a message and you just listen to the show, that's still amazing. That's just, thank you very much. And
honestly, every like on every post has always made me just smile. Every single like was like, nice.
And now you know why Instagram influencers do what they do.
Okay, we were kind of
standing
on a high note there.
Sorry.
You've kind of brought it down.
Whoops. Anyway, yeah, thanks guys, and we love you, and we will talk to you all very soon.
Like and subscribe, share it, especially in the next month. We could do with a whole bunch of new listeners jumping on. Yeah, there's plenty to dig into, and we love you long time. Goodbye.
Asherlow. It's a big grand.